The Democratic elites are trying to install her as their new nominee without her receiving a single vote for president. The media, they call it a coronation. I think there's another word. I call it a coup. The American people are never going to elect a wacky, out-of-touch San Francisco liberal like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris questioned my loyalty to this country. I served in the United States Marine Corps. I went to Iraq for this country. I built a business for this country, and my running mate took a bullet for this country. What the hell have you done to question our loyalty to the United States of America? Some of this stuff, you read what Kamala Harris has said, and it's hard to believe. She wants to abolish ICE, legalizing squatting, and open the door for rapists, felons, terrorists, and murderers to vote. She also supports defunding the police. She opposes putting more cops in the street because she believes that police are a greater threat than the bloodthirsty criminals they lock up, and maybe they are a greater threat to her, but to hardworking American citizens, they are our protectors, and we back the blue in this country. Now, she wants to end cash bail, and what that means is that if you assault a police officer, you can be back on the street the very next day. In fact, when rioters and looters were burning American cities to the ground, including Minneapolis, Kamala Harris was raising money to bail them out of jail. Let's throw them in jail and support the cops. It's hard to believe, but it's true. She helped a group of anti-cop extremists raise more than $40 million to free scores of criminals right here in Minnesota. That's not across the country, that's just here in Minnesota. And I think in November, Minnesota's gonna send her a message. They've had enough of Kamala Harris's garbage. They'd like to have a real president. You can't make it up. Some of the criminals freed by Kamala include a convicted rapist, a knife murderer, a domestic abuser, who later shot and killed a man while he was out on bail. It's so sad. Thanks to Kamala Harris, Minnesota neighborhoods have filled and will fill with violent criminals. President Trump, you know what he did? He put them behind bars where they belong. And here's the crazy thing. She also supports confiscating guns from law-abiding citizens. So the criminals get to have all the guns they want, but hardworking Americans get nothing to protect themselves. That is a recipe for disaster, and we're not going to let it happen. She wants to make us sitting ducks in our own country. That's the policy that Kamala Harris has pursued, and we are not going to let that happen. We are going to vote in big numbers in November, and we're going to take this country back, right? We're going to save this country for Americans of every race, color, and creed. We're going to do it the hard way. We're going to do it because this country is worth saving. We're going to do it by fighting through the media lies, and we're going to do it by electing Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And you know, they never give President Trump an easy path. Kamala Harris, the Democratic elites are trying to install her as their new nominee without her receiving a single vote for president. The media, our friends back there, they call it a coronation. I think there's another word. I call it a coup. In America, we do not crown our leaders, we vote for them. Democrat or Republican, you gotta give the voters a choice. But if there's one thing we've learned about Kamala Harris, it's that she has a hard time winning votes because she's too extreme even for the Democrat Party. Remember, in the 2020 primary, Harris dropped out months before they even cast the first vote. She was so unpopular, she polled in the low single digits among Democrats the entire campaign. She wasn't even the top 3 in her home state of California, and that is pretty embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason is because Democrats know that the American people would never elect a San Francisco liberal who's so far outside the mainstream. Now, we've got to give some credit to our Democrat friends because they were right in 2020. The American people are never going to elect a wacky, out-of-touch San Francisco liberal like Kamala Harris. Now, I saw the other day Kamala Harris questioned my loyalty to this country. That's the word she used, loyalty. And it's an interesting word, simplify, loyalty, because there is no greater sign of disloyalty to this country than what Kamala Harris has done at our southern border. And I'd like to ask the Vice President, what has she done to question my loyalty to this country? I served in the United States Marine Corps. I went to Iraq for this country. I built a business for this country. And my running mate took a bullet for this country. So my question to Kamala Harris is, what the hell have you done to question our loyalty to the United States of America? And the answer, my friends, is nothing. So let's send a message to the media. Let's send a message to Kamala Harris. Let's send a message to every hardworking patriot from Minnesota across the country. We are ready to have President Donald J. Trump back, and we're going to work our tails off to make sure it happens.